Welcome to the Pitmaster Podcast. We're barbecue competition competitors that aim to share information, advice, tips, and tall tales about our favorite pastime. Head over to thepitmasterpodcast.com for all things Pitmasters, or follow us on your favorite social media platform. And now, here are the hosts of the Pitmaster Podcast, the two-time grand champion, SCA World Champion finalist, and barbecue specialist of Smoke Ain't No Joke Barbecue, the Anthony Luan, and the 24-time grand and reserve grand champion, reserve world grand champion, Windover High Roller champion, and the founder of Pitmaster Barbecue Supply Company stores in Utah, the old man himself from Big Johnson's Barbecue, Jesse Johnson.
This is Greg Rempe from the Barbecue Central Show, and you are listening to the Pitmasters Podcast, and they are doing it live.
We'll do it live.
That's right, Bill. I just said that. They're going to do it live.
We'll do it live.
Yes, live. They're going to do it live.
Happy Tuesday, Jesse. How you doing, my man?
What's up, Mr. Anthony Luan? How you doing, brother?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. A little wore out, a little tired, man. Went on a vacation this weekend, and now I'm back.
Yeah, where'd you go?
L.A.
Yeah? You went down for the riots, huh? You're down to protest?
Yeah, I actually did. Not meaningly. Not meaningly.
Did you run into it, really?
Yeah, so we went to go this place called Olivia Street. If you've been to Los Angeles, it's kind of like it's like a block long. It's kind of like a mini Tijuana, has all the cool stuff on it, Mexican restaurants, the whole 9 yards. Well, a little that I know is a block away from the federal building.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm there. Checked out Olivia Street. Let's go check out it was a peaceful protest. And so we went through there, checked it out.
Fires and all, right?
Actually, no, there was none. It was actually very peaceful. It was all organized. It was well done. And then literally right before we left, LAPD rolled in deep from every single angle and pinned the whole block in, and was a evacuate the area type scenario. So they were trying to get everybody to evacuate the area, to leave the area. Heard a couple flashbangs. I didn't see much, but we heard it. So, but then it was out. So from what I seen, everybody left responsibly. No push. There was slight pushback, obviously, when you have a big group like that. But everybody left the area.
Those guys.
Yep. So it cleared out, and it was good. It was actually a peaceful protest. I'm glad I didn't go to the one here in Utah, apparently. So
get shot by the peacekeepers.
Right. So yeah.
What the French.
Right. Leave it to Utah to have to make national news for some
Pop
weird
off.
stuff like that. Oh well. But
That's why I'm always packing.
Yep. But yeah, LA was fantastic, dude. I went to this place called Oinksters, known for their pastrami. Oh my Lord.
Good?
The best pastrami I've ever had in my life. Ever.
Really?
Yeah. And then I go in.
You can get with pastrami, man. I love pastrami.
Yeah, so we were driving into town, seen the place. I was like, we're gonna hit that spot up. Go in there. First thing you see on the wall, Guy Fieri. Yeah, was here. So I was like, okay, so this is legit. They've been here for a minute. Yeah, got the thing called the Oinksters. It had pastrami, grilled onions on it, and then a red cabbage coleslaw type scenario on it. And man, home run.
Legit,
Legit. So, yep.
Yeah,
other than that, it was a good time.
There's no good pastrami right here. Now you're gonna be all hungry for pastrami.
Right? It was thick cut, like literally. I had a piece that was like a slice of brisket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's
home
legit.
run. Yep. So you got to look that up for sure.
Oinkster. Nice.
Oinkster if you ever go out to LA. But
dude, we had a killer competition in the West Jordan store. Pitmasters in West Jordan with Kim and Troy. We had 14 teams. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then we had 3 first-timers get calls.
Very nice.
And then a perfect score in ribs by K-Town Barbecue.
Yep.
And one judge screwed it all up for having a perfect.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, the guy with 2 thumbs did it. This guy.
You messed it up?
I did.
Oh, man. At least you can admit it.
It was for me. It just wasn't a home run rib, So I knocked it down at 1 point.
Ooh.
But he still got his perfect score. Got the GC. Walked away with a Green Mountain track, and the RGC was a new team as well. They walked away with a meter block. It was awesome.
That is awesome, man. Shout out to Jared O'Brien winning that
Yep.
GC. He was ranked number 3 in the world all of last year for ancillary cooks. So
Nice.
that's awesome.
You all set up to cook this weekend?
Yes.
Who are you cooking with?
I'm actually, I know you're gonna be mad, Jesse, but I'm heading down to Richfield because I got myself a better chance to win down there. Go ahead. You can let it all out.
SCA guys, just kill me.
It's not the SCA. You know this on the podcast. I'm not cooking by myself. I'm done cooking by myself. It's a lot of work, and I got to give myself a shot.
Because you're bougie.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fucking work.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I've always cooked. I mean, I've had teammates, obviously.
Yeah,
I've always rolled solo. They just help me with all the little different things you got to do for a barbecue competition. But yeah, this year it's light, man. We had 29 teams last year. We're at 16 this year.
Oh man, you never know.
So we had a handful of teams that said they were coming. They haven't confirmed again. So I'm just going with what we have hard count.
Yeah.
So that's what we're planning on. Still gonna be a good event. Giving away $7,000 in prize money. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Question for you though. So we got a schedule for a backyard event July 26th at the Pitmasters in Layton. What do you think about doing tri-tip?
I would definitely do tri-tip.
All right. I'm really thinking about, I'm gonna flip that, put that as a tri-tip competition, and kind of follow our boy Freddie's lead and let them marinate their stuff in advance. Just has to be raw. I'll make sure they're raw, and then just do appearance, taste, and tenderness.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. I really think you should do it. By the way,
now we're gonna do it. It's been announced tonight on the podcast.
Sweet.
July 26th, Pitmaster Supply Company in Layton. It's going to be a tri-tip competition.
Nice.
So what's the entry fee should be?
Is it tri-tip and tri-tip only?
Yep.
$50.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too. So
yeah, $50 is fair because that's
capping at 25 teams for our little space, and we'll shoehorn everybody in there and try some good tri-tip. Yeah.
Speaking of tri-tip, Amanda stumbled across this Instagram. There's some dude out there that is pastrami tri-tip. He's going through the whole pastrami process with tri-tip. I was like, I want to give that a shot. That might be a home run too. That'd be good.
I want to try pastrami ribs, beef ribs.
Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't have a good pastrami recipe for the brine and everything.
Yeah,
so
ThermoWorks has a good baseline. ThermoWorks has a really good baseline. I've tried the pastrami that Chef Martin's made there, and it's pretty good. There can be some tweaks to it, and I think it's just more or less heavier pepper, during the smoking process, things like that. The actual brine itself is solid, but finishing it out to however you want it.
All right, you're gonna have to send me that recipe. I'll give it a rip.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah,
and then we're gonna release a new Big Johnson's rub tomorrow. We're gonna release 3-2-1. It's gonna have a little cherry kick to it. It's gonna be perfect for pork ribs and pork shoulders. So 3-2-1 gets launched on Wednesday at the Pitmaster Supply Company in Layton.
All right, and then is it going to distribute by next week all the other locations?
We're going to try to get it out to the locations by Monday. So
hell yeah, sweet.
And big bottles again.
Yes, it's always good to have larger bottles.
Yeah. Our customers love the big bottles, and one of these days Lee Hill's going to get my big bottles done, so I can do big bottles again. So no pressure, Lee. No
pressure. Yeah, and so you have your competition this weekend, and then you have the backyard coming up. Tomatoes Day you've been pushing, so
that just got released, so that's going to be August 30th. That's Labor Day weekend. That's already starting to fill up, so I got to get the tri-tip out there and see what happens with that. That should be fun.
I'm going to soft confirm that. I might cook that. I might soft confirm that cook. Tomatoes Days.
Lock you in.
Yeah, because RSL's out of town. I don't have anything in, so I might lock in on that.
And I guarantee our KCBS certified barbecue judge can judge tri-tip.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I think maybe put a little Smoke X beef on it, a little Smoke X pecan. How's that?
Yeah.
That'd be good.
That'd be way good. And then
Let's bring him in. Let's bring him in. We'll talk about it.
Let's talk it back. Let's bring him in. Where's my button? Oh man, I broke it. Let's see. All right, let's bring him in. Yeah, speaking of which, we didn't even talk about that. Yeah, we have John with Smoke X coming on the show tonight. That's the whole reason why we're here. He's gonna talk about some really cool stuff. He's gonna talk about rubs, his t-shirt business, a bunch of other stuff too. So
nice.
Let's go talk to him, man.
Okay, let's do it.
We call it Thermapen 1, the first true 1-second cooking thermometer. Its unprecedented speed means Thermapen 1's responsiveness approaches the speed of thought. Because when you're plating the perfect menu or smoking the perfect side of barbecue, you don't have time to think about how your instant read thermometer is accurate to 0.5 degrees in 1 second or less, or how rugged and waterproof it is, or how big, elegant and bright the backlit display is. You'll just know it works, because our perfection powers your perfection. Seek perfection with Thermapen 1.
Welcome to the show, John. Sorry about that. I didn't mean Smoke X. Smokin X.
Yes, sir. Smokin X, no G.
Yes, there we go. My bad.
That's a Southern thing. There's no G's in the Southern English language.
Oh, it's just all slang. It's just.
Is there any in Utah? Where are you to go hunting? Where are you to go find the deer at? In the mountain?
No, so I'll tell you what. You talk about hunting and stuff, and I feed. I have to go and cook and do some catering and stuff for some ranches and stuff, and I've had the opportunity to be basically food service for some TV shows that were filmed here in Texas, and most of them were hunting shows and stuff. And you know, there's elk in Texas, believe it or not. There's no season on it. Yes, in the northwest Panhandle there is elk, and there's no season on them because they're on
private ranches, right?
No, that's not high fenced. It's not anything.
No,
they came down back, I think they said back in the 80s from New Mexico and Colorado looking for food, and then just got in those canyons and never left.
So they're invasive.
Oh.
You can hunt them whenever you want.
You can hunt them year round.
There you go.
But you know, there's a lot of deer. You know, we've got whitetail and muleys and stuff. I've got a gigantic muley hanging in my house, but
nice.
It's there's lots of deer around here.
I got my first bull elk last year myself, so I've gone on really long hikes with my rifle and really long hikes with my bow, and last year I was blessed enough to drew a CWMU and was on a big ranch, and the guys from King's Camo guided me on my hunt and got me on a good bull, and I actually hiked out a bull that was like 330 for one of the guys from Sportsman Warehouse, and he'd been there 5 hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He's ruined for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Or you hear about that 16-year-old that kills a 12-point or something, and you're like, really?
Yep.
You know,
some 200-incher.
The only real bow hunting I've done elk was in Colorado, and you know, we used to go up there because the way the tags are set up and stuff, and we'd be a part of this little ranch and go up there and hunt. And I got in front of some really nice ones, but they're always facing me. I never could get one broad that was worth it. So it was a lot of fun and got to see a lot of beautiful country, but I've never been able to take an elk with a bow.
Well,
just right down the chest, man.
Head on is a great shot. That's the size of a watermelon.
Yeah. Oh man, we're always trying to look for that mount. I don't want to mess up the cape or the.
Send it.
You just bury it. You bury it about 3 or 4 inches up from the tan in the dark stuff. You're not going to mess up that hide at all. I'll take that shot every day.
Well, we'd always get broad on them, and you know, deer too and stuff, and unless we're just looking for meat. But But anyway, I don't know that we're here to talk about hunting.
No,
we're talking about everything.
We talk about everything, huh?
We talk about.
I tell you, my pecan seasoning is phenomenal on venison. It is just next level on venison.
It's one of the stronger pecan flavors that are out there. When people are looking for a pecan flavor, I always send them your way, and because we carry both of your rubs in our stores.
I have 4 now.
Well, where do I get? Because all I can get them off
so
is,
we can talk about
Old
that.
World.
So I am no longer with Old World. We'll just get that out, and that's all we have to say about that. About a year ago, I bought a warehouse right outside of Lubbock, and we're distributing myself. So through the Smokin Swag website, you can set up, and I retail and wholesale through that, and all of my distribution for my seasoning is coming through that. And I have the capability of hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll be able to send pallets. We're setting up logistics for that, but I can send cases.
So what's your other flavors then? You got beef. I got beef and pecan on the.
And then I have a Texas.
What's in the Texas?
The Texas is based off of my beef, only it just an insane amount of bark. It just really builds up bark. So, the beef seasoning was actually born out of I think it's 2017 when I went to the World Food Championships and placed, and that was just basically a steak seasoning. So when I got back, me and Sterling were starting to get ready for World Food. I started playing with some stuff and used my beef as a base, and then just built a seasoning that is a salt and pepper base, but builds an insane amount of bark.
Yeah.
And then I have a sweet, Simply Sweet.
Yep.
We're working on some more, but I'd rather have that slow, steady growth than to explode and then catch my pants down.
Yeah, I'm with you, because we have 2 rubs of mine that we've had since the giddy up, and man, they just sell like hotcakes. And then my brisket recipe from the contest like 4 weeks ago, I've got it on my front shelf, and I've been selling out of that every day. It's like I have to restock it. I've been going through, and it's 4 rubs, and people are like, "Yep, take all 4." So if it wins, it sells.
And for a long time, I wasn't going to do a seasoning. I really wasn't going to do one. I wasn't going to do any rubs, and you can blame Schmitty, you can blame Sterling for me having seasonings, is because he pushed it. Like, dude, I had them in Ziploc bags when we go to comps, and Sterling and different, not just Sterling, but I mean different people. And Sterling has his own line of rubs, and you can also find his rubs on our website and on his website. But people bring me a Ziploc bag, man. I need, I want to try it. I want to play with it, or they'd blend it with something they've already got going on. And Sterling was like, man, you need to
bottle and sell this.
You need to bottle this. This is good.
Yeah,
and it all started with my pecan and my beef.
Yeah, they're solid. We're releasing a new rub tomorrow at the Layton store. It's our Southern Savory with fair amount of cherry flavoring to it, so we're calling it our 3-2-1 that people can use on the ribs and on pork. So
I'll tell you, man, on ribs, my pecan and I want to try your 3-2-1, but my pecan and Smitty's everything just kills. And then the beef. And what made my beef so popular was it has more than just 2 ingredients. There's more than just salt and pepper in it, but it's coarse, and that's what everybody was looking for. That's what they were wanting to make it stand out on a steak and stuff.
Yeah,
I've got some guys, and I know you're an SCA guy, but I'm telling you, but I've had some SCA guys use my beef. They just don't want to talk about it.
Why not?
The fire out of
Why not?
Oh, because I'm like, I'm not paying you. I'll give you some seasoning, but I'm not paying you.
They want to get paid.
Yeah, and I don't mind talking about that either. We joke around about, guys, they get one call, and next thing you know, they want to do a tell-all class, and I'm like, dude, it's not how this works, man.
Isn't this exactly what I was talking about last week? Wasn't I, Jesse?
Yep,
we got to help promote each other in this game. It's a very small small area. Help promote each other. Help push the next guy to the next level.
Well, and I was telling somebody just the other day that I'm very fortunate that I've had some people take me under their wing and show me in catering and in comps and stuff. I've been Smokin X has been around for 15 years. I mean, this isn't. It's not like I started it a couple days ago or a couple years ago. It's an overnight success. 15 years in the making.
Yep.
But leaning on people, and I lean on Smitty a lot.
He's a wealth of knowledge, though, man. He's been around the game.
And if my theory is, if you get to ride the elevator up, send it back down every once in a while.
Yep.
There's a guy that I'm kind of mentoring a little bit right now. He's had a couple calls, and I've told him, I said, that's good. And then he went and did a big one this weekend. I told him I would not go do that one.
Yeah.
They're paying too much money.
It'll hurt.
Oh, yeah, but, and I said, they're paying too much money. I said, I'm not going without my team, because I know on that level of cooking, when they're paying $30,000, there's going to be some big dogs come out, and it's going to be dotting your I's, crossing your T's on a level that you haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but it's experience and just, in my opinion, digging in the trenches. I used to do 25, 30 comps a year.
Wow.
And when I landed the deal with the Travel Channel in, 14 or 15, I decided I would pull back a little bit, just because, it's y'all know what it's like, man. It's 25, 30 weekends a year.
It's a grind.
It's $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 every time you leave the driveway.
Yep. I've never done more than 12 in a year.
And I was in a points chase with IBCA. And I was just really trying to grind it out. And then I started doing KCBS, and there's nothing wrong with IBCA. There's nothing wrong with some of these other deals, but KCBS separates the men from the boys, in my opinion, in a lot of levels, because of the turn-ins and the garnish and the, there's more to it, especially when you're parked 100 yards from turn-in, and those 30-minute turn-ins, that if you're a 1 or 2 man show, you got
to have a runner.
Go be half a mile from turn-in at the Royal and try to make that work.
Yeah, a 20-minute walk.
Being a 1-minute walk. Yeah, being a one-man show. So big gigs like that, I'm either partnering up with someone like Smitty or something. And it's just that simple. I'm not even going to attempt it because the level of perfection you have to have, is next level.
You see some of the big teams, their boxes. I mean, I think around here, Matt Hansen out of Boise, he makes some of the prettiest boxes, man. And I had I got 2 8s in appearance at World Foods that cost me the world championship in pork.
Doesn't that just aggravate the fire out of you?
0.4, and I think I make pretty boxes. But 0.4 between me and the grand champion in the pork category.
Well, I blame all of my success at World Food on Smitty, because I'd gone on my own and he'd gone on his own. But and he's going to hate me for saying this. In the real world and on paper, he and I should not be able to get along. I'm ADD off the charts, but somehow we click.
But he's military, so he's got that. He's like,
I can't say enough about the guy. He's just a good friend and a good guy. I think he's a little agitated with me right now because there's one comp he's wanting me to go to, and I'm like, man, I just don't think I'm going to make that one. But
it's like Anthony not coming to my contest this weekend. I got a KCBS event I'm putting on, and he's going to go cook a damn steak somewhere.
Didn't you just hear what John said, though? Cooking KCBS is hard by yourself.
Well, if you're right across, I mean, like, look at, like some of these guys. If you
he's got a 20-foot turn-in.
If you can get parked 20 feet from turn-in, okay, I get it. But a lot of those KCBS are larger comps, or they're spread out, or they're in a park, or they're on a bigger venue, and it's your walk is. It can be something. But anyway, what I was saying about Sterling and I is, but when I went with him and we cooked together, we were just firing on all cylinders, and it worked out, 2 years in a row.
That's nice when you can find that, though. That's having a teammate that you trust and you guys can help each other. That's phenomenal when you can find that.
Well, there's just I don't know. I'd like to think he likes me, and I'd like to think he trusts my decisions. But we kind of divvy up responsibilities. The highest compliment, and I don't even know if Smitty will remember this or not. I'm sure I'll get a whole text message after this show airs, from him. But the highest compliment I feel like I've ever got cooking was at the World Food Championships at the final table in Bentonville a couple years ago, and we were in the top 6 going to the top 4, I think, something like that. And one of the celebrity chefs, like a James Beard guy, walks up and he goes, "Who's in charge?" And Sterling's the Hefe today, After the comp, after we turn in and everything, we go and ask him, said, "Well, why did you ask that?" Like, I've never been asked. He said, "Because I couldn't tell." That's how well y'all work together and how y'all are blended. Is a lot of times there's one guy yelling or screaming and you can tell who the boss is. With y'all, everybody had their head down working, and there was a couple of looks and a couple of nods. Yes, no, I like it, I don't like it. You couldn't. He said I couldn't tell who was in charge.
That's
which
cool.
means that's a true team effort, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody's out there pointing fingers. Hey, what are you doing? It's actually just everybody knew what they were doing. That makes it nice.
But that's and that itself, and World Food is just you say KCBS is the next level. World Food is another level on top of that, because
it is.
It is. I think the highest I'd ever gotten on my own was 14th, and that was in steak in 2017, I think, when it was in Mississippi, there on the beach. Right. But that is stressful on a level. That's the most stressful cooking I've ever done in my life.
And it's not just like barbecue either, right? Barbecue, we can work on our boxes, making them better. But then on World Foods, it's like this whole huge presentation. Yeah, it's way wild. Yeah, it's
leveled up.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, and the guys that I heard a guy say one time, it's almost like cheating. Y'all, a bunch of these guys teaming up with other teams to go, do that. And I'm like, man, if your ego wasn't so big, people to work with you too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you have to have somebody that specializes in it, like Chef Mikey, out of St. Louis, Johnson, in Bentonville at the final table, because he has that eye. He has that chef's eye, and and we're turning into chefs. So we're me and Smitty, a couple barbecue guys, we joke around, what we get to do today, cook a barbecue in a parking lot. That's what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to have that eye and put it on a plate to where it is right. Something that I wouldn't see, I wouldn't notice. Oh, that's good enough. No, that's not good enough on this level.
Right. And then, like we talked with Phil the Grill on here, being able to explain your dish properly, because he made the mistake of not explaining his dish properly, and it cost him in the final 12. So World Foods was wild.
It gets when you get up past the barbecue side to get into the other level, it gets so chefy if you don't have that chef background and that culinary background.
Right.
Man, I've never been to that part, so I'd be lost if you get me there.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, it's next level, and you have to have someone on your team or someone that's paying attention, because like KCBS, we joke around. Who'd have ever thought I'd have tweezers in my knife roll?
Right.
Stuff like that. Like that's
right.
And multiple sizes.
In multiple sizes, because you're picking stuff out of your box and you're making that, lay just right, or hey, there's a tag on that rib, or that slice of brisket. Multiply that times 10, and that's World Food.
Yeah, that's wild.
And you're on a timetable that is almost impossible.
Yeah,
and you're on a timetable that is I don't know words for it. It's exhausting thinking about it. I'd love to go back, but at the same time, when it's over, you're like, oh, I can breathe now.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just your level of anxiety and stress is just through the roof, especially when you're about to turn in. And then when you're carrying those trays inside, you're just like, man, do not bump any, but don't watch this cord. And the World Food, I give them credit because they recognize that. So the chef Reeves, what was funny was when I went to World Food the first time, or when I went in 2017, we had to do like a signature steak and stuff. So I did a 45-ounce tomahawk. Well, it was under a big tent. They didn't let us use our own grills and stuff. It was before like SCA and those guys got involved in some of that stuff. We had to use a gas grill. And I reverse sear steaks. I don't cook them hot and fast. I reverse sear them.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did is I took one of those tubes and filled it full of pellets and wood chips, 2 or 3 of those, and threw them in that grill and fired it up super hot so they'd catch fire, and then turned that gas grill as low as it'd go. And then I put that tomahawk on there to let it hang out. Well, so I turned a gas grill into a smoker at World Food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And those chefs just kept walking around like, man, you all right? Everything good? Yeah. Because they're looking for a fire.
Yeah. The place is rolling smoke.
I'm fixing to have a grease fire or something. I said, no.
Right.
And I opened it up and showed them those tubes. And they were like, okay. And I said, no, I'm trying to get a smoke ring or some smoke on that steak,
Impart some extra flavor in there.
Yes, to do something different.
Yeah.
Because I think that year, I mean, the executive chef, the MGM Grand in Vegas was cooking there.
Mm.
I mean, like, how do you go up against that?
Yeah, that makes it tough.
Some fat bearded guy from Texas going up against a chef like that,
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy competing and stuff. I don't compete as much as I used to, just because it takes up so much time, and I'm doing other events and stuff. Like I just got back from Georgia for Green Mountain, and I've got some other stuff planned with Green Mountain and stuff. So doing demos and featuring the seasonings and demoing the seasoning or the grills for Green Mountain and doing different things, and then doing some catering or big events. I've cooked from catering wise and event wise from California and Anaheim all the way to Washington DC on Capitol Hill. So, sometimes I just simply don't have time to get on that schedule. I mean, to do what we do and to pay for the equipment we have, you have to try to do something to stay home that turns $1. So,
yeah.
And that's the thing, I tell a lot of people, like this guy that I'm helping out a little bit, don't go buy a brand new diesel and don't go buy a new porch trailer.
Right.
He found him a little 6x10 enclosed trailer, and I said that's perfect to start out with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Make that work, and then slowly build. I started off with a 5x10 enclosed trailer, and then went up to a little bigger enclosed trailer, and then went to a 24-foot, and now I've got a 28-foot porch trailer that is just a dream come true. But you have to slowly build that up, and equipment and that kind of stuff is just a piece of the pie. It's not going to win you GCs and win you money. It just right. helps you get there in your endurance.
What you got coming up with Green Mountain? What's going on?
I've got some stuff, some stuff I can't talk about just quite yet. There was a gig I was supposed to do this weekend that is getting pushed back. Not the event, but they're skipping. It's the first time for this event to be held in Texas, and we're hoping to get to go to yet. But they're wanting me to do another one for them later on. Like I said, some of the stuff I can talk about. I've done stuff for Green Mountain for like Alabama, the group Alabama. Randy Owens and Teddy Gentry and stuff. I've done stuff with them, and that was through Green Mountain. Went to Georgia and stuff. Cooked at some stores, some new stores. That are going all in on Green Mountain and stuff, and went over there and did that, and did like a little festival in Roberta, Georgia. But you just never know. So summertime, believe it or not, I don't do a lot. And a lot of people say, well, it's grilling season, but there's not a lot of corporate events going on.
Yeah.
So, I've got a couple little gigs I'm going to do, and then I'm going to take a break and go to the mountains in New Mexico or somewhere for a little while. And then in August, we'll fire back up, and we'll start off 15th and 16th of August here in Lubbock on the Texas Tech campus with the Raider Red Meats Barbecue and Ribeye Championship. I think it's our 10th
Raiders.
annual KCBS. I get excited about that comp because Smitty and, I bring those guys come in, and it's awesome because they fly in.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've got 20 plus grill smokers and pits and stuff, I've got from the Trek all the way to the Big Pig, and I've got my trailer and a big offset and stuff. So like when Smitty and those guys come in, and like Chadwick and some of those guys, I just loan them out my equipment.
Yeah.
Just get here. I got enough equipment and tables and canopies and trailers to cover you.
Yeah.
Tell people a little bit more about that Big Pig jig, because that's one piece, because we sell more Green Mountains in Utah than anybody else, and
the Big Pig
that's the one thing we haven't brought in yet is the Big Pig.
You need to be on a mission and cook a lot of volume to justify that rig. I think it holds over 1,000 pounds of pellets. It goes through 10 to 12 pounds an hour.
Wow.
So it's not cheap to run, but I think we've put 30 pork butts on one at one time. They will run from 150 to 500 degrees like the others. Mm-hmm. And they're AC/DC. They'll fire up and run on a battery or 110. They come with a deep cycle battery. They're mounted on a trailer. And, as steep a learning curve as it is to cook on a Green Mountain in the beginning, it's just that steep to go from a regular pellet grill or a Green Mountain to a Big Pig. Everything is more emphasized. You have to keep that rig clean. When you're done, you have to. Because when you got 30 butts,
it's a lot of jus in the bottom of your pit.
Yeah, your fire's still in the bottom of that dude, You've got to keep dry pellets in it because of the volume that it's going through. Because when that thing dies, it takes a lot to take it apart, There's a couple deflector plates on it that is really a two-man job to pull them out because they're so heavy. If you don't mind getting grease from head to toe, one man can do it. But they're a machine. I mean, they are. I love it. It's awesome. If you're going to go cook 300 hamburgers or 500 hamburgers, that's the rig we drag out.
Yeah, Jason Baker. He threatened me to drop off a Connex full of them, then other dealers can come get them from me. I was like, because we're in the market probably 3 of them. So if we're gonna get 3, he's gonna just drop off a Connex and let some of the other dealers come and grab them.
They're awesome. I really like it. Like I said, it's gonna go through the pellets.
But anything that side's gonna go through any fuel that you're using.
Yeah. But you're also not cooking 2 pork butts. You're cooking 30.
Right. Yeah.
25 briskets. I mean, that thing is just a hoss. And everything's just bigger and heavier. It's a very well built machine, but it's a beast, and it's going to take a true half-ton pickup or something to move it. Don't hook it onto your Jeep Wrangler and expect to go across town or something. I mean, you're going to need at least.
It says it holds 84 pounds of pellets.
Wow.
No, how much did it say?
84 pounds of pellets.
84 pounds? That's what.
Yeah.
Right.
What's that?
What 84 pounds would not be correct. I mean, it's over 1,000 pounds.
Well, no, I'm saying of pellets.
It'd be 841 pounds.
Let's see.
Pellets?
It holds. I guarantee you, it holds 1,000 pounds. You top it off.
Oh, I'm looking at it right here. I'm sharing it on.
I'm looking at. Scroll it up. I can see what you're doing. Scroll it up, and I'm looking.
It says right.
I think it's 841 pounds.
It says large hopper holds 84 pounds of pellets.
That's not correct.
No.
It'd be 800. Should be probably 841.
Because that's only 3 bags. That's only 3 bags of Green Mountain pellets.
28-pound bags.
Oh,
okay.
That's only 3 bags.
So that's a typo. That's a typo.
Yeah, typo. Well, we'll let management know. I'll be texting Jason here shortly.
Be like, listen here.
Come on, Jason.
But a Green Mountain, and I've had offers from other pellet grill companies, and Jason loves that story, and it's not really kosher to tell here, but I will tell you, I had a very lucrative deal get dropped in my lap right before COVID with another company, and some of the other guys like Smitty and Andy and some of the other guys wouldn't even talk to him. And I told Jason, I said, I'm going to talk to him. I want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
And then I mean, you want to talk about swinging for the fence. I swung for the fence. And I was like, something completely unachievable. John set up for a while.
Yeah.
And I knew they weren't going to do it. And then when I got off the phone with them, I called Jason back and I said, yeah, you're stuck with me. And he was laughing and he goes, man, you got to do what's right for your family. I said, dude, shit, I ain't going anywhere. And you know that.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how serious they were,
Yeah.
They're not. They're feeling to see what everybody's doing. And I said, you took a chance on me when nobody else did. Before I had my Travel Channel deal, before, I was winning quite a bit and I had a name. When I was still building Smokin X, Green Mountain took a chance on me. Loyalty means something to me. You're stuck with me. It's just that simple.
Right.
But I have a relationship with him that we send memes back and forth to each other all the time. I really truly feel like even if neither one of us was in the barbecue world and we ran across each other, we'd be friends anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a good dude.
Yeah, he is.
Just a good dude.
The funny thing is like, when the tariffs hit, they bumped their pricing a little bit, but as soon as Trump rescinded the tariffs for a little bit, they moved it right back.
Not everybody did that.
Nope. But one company just got stupid. They took a $1,500 grill and now it's $2,000, and then their flat tops went from $500 to $700. And I'm like, I just sold 4 of these, and now my replacement cost is $50 more than what I just sold them for. I'm like, you guys are killing me, Smalls. It's like, it's brutal. So it's like Green Mountain. I got to have a couple of the brands, but I'm going to start looking at, probably Smokin Brothers bring one of their grills in as a second or third grill.
Well, what I like about Green Mountain. And don't think for half a second that the conversation I haven't been like, man, let me buy in. Let me own 2%. Let me do. And nope, can't do it. I mean, I don't know how many principal owners there are, less than a handful, but they keep it that way so that it's not a committee figuring stuff out. It's 1 or 2 people.
Mm-hmm. And it has to be like that.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying is that's what makes them effective, because I like talking to the person in charge.
Yeah.
I'm the world's worst nightmare when it comes to buying a vehicle or something. Man, if you have to go talk to the guy behind the glass, bring him out here.
Yeah. Don't waste my time.
Don't waste my time, man. I got stuff to do. I can text Jason. I can call him. I know, all the customer support people, the marketing guy, and I'm like, this is what we're working on. This is what we got going on, and there's been times I call or text and Jason will say, I don't hear from him for upon rare, but he'll text me back 2 days later. Hey man, I was, slammed the last 2 days. I'm free at 5:00 this evening. You let's talk, Yeah. I was on the phone with him right before we got on here.
Yeah, it's pretty rare for Jason not to get back with you within an hour.
That's what I'm saying is you're not. Yeah. I worked for a tractor company that goes with yellow and green paint, and you even as a department head, I was a serial number when I'd call in.
Yeah,
and I'm like, man, me, dude. Hey, what, Steve or whatever. This is John. We talked 10 minutes ago. Okay, so what's your ID number? Oh, dude, really?
God.
But with like Green Mountain, and then I work with Wild Gear coolers and stuff, and then I work with Raider Red Meats, the meat science department there at Texas Tech. There's relationships there, and there's long-term relationships there, and I can text the people in charge and be like, "Hey, I'm looking at this," or "Hey, I need this for an event," or "I need this," or "Hey, I'm looking at this. You want to be in on it?" And I get an answer.
Yeah.
And it's not a BS answer. It's a legitimate, this is what we got going on, or this is where we're at. Let's talk. What can we do to help?
There's some rumors swirling out there about something coming down the pipe from Green Mountain that I cannot get confirmation on here or there. So hopefully you got some new things going on. I hope what I'm hearing is going to come to fruition.
I'm always in the boat that I know more than I should. But I can say that there's some stuff that was trying to get off the ground that is now getting off the ground.
Yep.
There was some issues that kept them the last 4 or 5 years from doing what they needed to do. And, you hear about football or baseball teams, it's a rebuilding year. We're trying to, get our feet back underneath us and get it covered, so we can win some championships or whatever. And I feel like that's what Green Mountain's been doing for the last couple of years, or the last year, is getting everything back in order. Yeah. Where the company can move forward. And I think that new 2.0 is part of it. I had one of the first 2.0s. It's mounted to my trailer right now. I have 4 2.0s right now. 3 of them are mounted to my trailer, and then one of them was a Trek. And it's a different animal as well. I really like them.
Boy, the Trek sells so good for people in our area, because there's so many RVers and so many campers and so many hunters in our area. I think that's the top of the food chain when it comes to a portable grill. It gets hot fast, and you can cook quite a bit of stuff on that little bitty grill. And I love that the legs are in place, welded to the body, get the heat up off the table. Man, it's so fun to cook on when we're up.
Got rid of those springs, which I understood why they were doing the springs, but at the same time, I wasn't ever a fan of them, because it would wiggle and it would seem like you had to kind of stretch the legs out to make it sit right and stuff. And you can blame me and Schmitty, because Schmitty and I, for I bet 5 years, have been telling Green Mountain, telling Jason, dude, just cut out some of the bells and whistles. Yeah. Make them flat black. Simplify. Make them flat black. Get rid of the chrome handles and stuff, because all we're doing is getting those dirty. Get rid of the stainless lids. Some people think that's nice and pretty, but I'm not bashing it. If that's what you like, hammer down. But
they discolor. They make stainless steel lids discolor. Yeah.
Get back to what Green Mountain is, a workhorse, and that's what I need. I need it to fire when I go.
And see, I don't mind the stainless internal, because they last longer. They don't warp. All the guts are stainless steel, which I absolutely a huge fan of. But and they have the best wheels on the market, because I wheel one in and out every day, and so they roll so easy.
The one thing that I've been campaigning for 2 or 3 years is get rid of the casters. Just make 4 big wheels.
Oh, 4 big wheels. Gotcha.
Yeah, because they don't weigh enough that you can't slide it.
Yeah.
And, some of these comp guys, which used to be me, would roll them in and out of an enclosed trailer. And, if you're on gravel or grass or asphalt or something, and those casters would just rattle your teeth.
Yeah.
But, mine are mounted now, too, which was the easiest pit mounting I've ever done in my life. I literally took the caster, built some brackets out of square tubing that the legs go straight down in, and then use the pre-existing holes that the casters and that shelf go on,
and run a bolt right through it.
And ran a bolt right through it. And you're mounted
solid.
And
put a little Loctite on everything.
Yes, and then too the Prime pluses, and then now the 2.0s. are all the same footprint.
Yeah.
So I when I swap one out, all I got to do is just unscrew it, lift it out, set the new one back in it, and put the screws right back in. And it's the easiest changeover I've ever done in my life. But I really enjoy working with them. And, I wouldn't have met Smitty if it wasn't for Green Mountain.
Yeah.
Awesome. I wouldn't have met Smitty, if it wasn't for barbecue, and like Chadwick, my buddy out of Tennessee, Chris Chadwick, just a dear, dear friend of mine, and an excellent cook, but just out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, he is between Memphis and Nashville. I mean, out in these sticks, and he hits as many comps as he can. He comes to my Lubbock comp, but just a phenomenal cook. But and then like Mikey and those guys, I wouldn't have met or got to hang out or get to know, So people joke around about barbecue family. Yeah, I mean it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have met any of those guys or got to know them if it wasn't for barbecue. And Chad, my right-hand man, he's been with me since almost the beginning. And, I joke around, people say, well, so what if Chad can't go? He's just one of your guys. No,
yeah,
man, you don't understand, man.
You don't understand.
I can go, hey, Chad, hand me and he's standing there.
And he's handing it to you.
Handing it to you. He knows my routine so well, And Chad's, and I don't know how y'all do it. Everybody does it a little bit different. I don't taste my comp food. I just can't do it because I'll start second guessing. Chad's my taste tester.
Mm.
And
I gotta taste mine, man.
I used to, and I would second guess it, and then
I want it the way I want it, and and I know where my taste buds are and how that correlates with the judges themselves, and it's like, what am I missing? And then I've always had a couple of people around that have good palates as well, and what am I missing? There's something missing, and they're like, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, So having that extra taste buds around helps a ton. But
Schmitty has always been one too, even if I'm competing against him. What do you think about this? Oh, dude, that's good. I mean, you can just tell in his face.
Yeah, that's on point, or it's not.
Okay, that's all I need to know. I was a tweener on it, and you're telling me no, so that's all I needed to hear. But so it's great. Life is good. I'm changing up a bunch of stuff. Sometimes you have to take 2 steps backwards to take a step forward. And that's what we've done over the last year with Smokin X, is kind of reevaluated where we're at, changing up a bunch of stuff. Like I said, we had, not to kind of have a segue into this for a brief moment, but, we had apparel and stuff that were branded Smokin X before COVID, and we were doing really well with it. And then COVID hits and just shuts everybody down. I was actually with Jason in New Orleans at HPB when COVID hit. And that's the week I released my seasonings, and I thought, oh my gosh. But it worked out because everybody went home and started cooking.
Yeah.
Yep. But I couldn't get blanks. I couldn't, Richardson got to where if you weren't ordering $8,000-$10,000 worth of blanks, they weren't even going to talk to you. Yeah. So I kind of put the apparel and stuff on the back burner, and then I toyed with actually opening a store here in Lubbock, and I got talked out of it. There were 2 people that I trusted a lot. I valued their opinion, and those 2 people had never met, never talked to each other, and they both told me the same thing. Like, man, just hold off 6 weeks, and if you feel the same, run with it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, maybe take this in a different direction. And they both told me that within 24 hours. And I was like, man, somebody's trying to tell me something, because 2 people, like literally that I trust, said the same exact thing. And then in 2 or 3 weeks, I was like, man, a storefront, I don't know. So we decided to go online. I took on a partner. I own Smokin X 100%. And so I took on a partner with Smokin Swag, just to have some diversity and creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then not everything's branded Smokin X. We decided to go more broad.
Yeah.
And then kind of took over my own distributing with the
Yeah, you're not the only one that left old rules. I mean, you're in good company with Travis Clark and some other people.
There's probably 40 or 50 of us.
Yeah.
I was one of the very last ones.
And they just bumped up their minimums too. So now you got it's a $500 minimum. I had to do an order today, and it's like, yeah, my orders are always over 500 anyway. But when you need something, you need it next. I need it this week, and you got to put together a $500 order. It's like,
I've got some stores that aren't barbecue stores that order a case of each, like clockwork, every month.
Yeah.
No one would even talk to them if they had a $500 minimum.
Yeah.
So and I've got.
I mean, because you got 40 or 50 vendors in a barbecue store. I mean, there's a lot of vendors. If you've got a good, I mean, we have, 450 rubs in the store.
Right.
And you got to weed it. You go in and out, weeding stuff out that doesn't sell and moving things around. But man, it's a juggling act when it comes to the vendors.
So what do you do if there's a sauce that you really like?
Yeah.
But they're not part of the group that you normally order from, and there's a $500 minimum.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're like,
because
that's the only sauce that I want to order from them.
Yeah, I'm not ordering pallets of sauce like some people are.
Yeah.
So that's where Smokin Swag was born. It was kind of a play on Smokin X, and we fired back our apparel and stuff, and built it really slow on purpose with just a few SKUs, and we're slowly building it. And I do sell other people's sauces and rubs and stuff on my website and some other products, and we're adding products every month. But the stuff that I wholesale that is available for wholesale on Smokin Swag is only my stuff. It's only my products that I produce, like all the apparel we own. And I'll tell you what's funny is, so like scroll up a little bit, you can see the other way, the cuts of beef, like the hoodie and the t-shirt. I work with Raider Red Meats and stuff for the meat science department at Tech, and sit on their board of directors for the KCBS and stuff. And I took that picture to one of their directors and was like, this looks right to me, but do I need to move any lines? I want it to be right. We're using everything, that extra little step to make it correct.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that do a cuts shirt like that or a hoodie, but you're like, man, that's not really where a brisket's at, or that's not really where the the ribeye rolls at and stuff. And or the lines are just off. They're in the general area, but they're off a little bit. And I've gone to great lengths, and my artist guy, I've drove him nuts, making stuff correct.
Get it anatomically
I want
correct.
I want it correct. And so the Culinary Gangster line has been very popular. That was actually born out of the World Food. That was a hashtag that some guys were using. And y'all probably heard it or seen it, and stuff. Anthony, it just means you've made it to another level. You're I don't want to say elite, because I don't want to ever think I'm elite. But you're next level.
But it's quality.
It's quality.
That's the thing. I've had arguments with some of my, because I still have some clients in my advertising agency, and they want to do the $3 shirts. I'm like, you can't do $3 shirts, because you know what they'll do with your $3 shirts? They're going to go wash their car with it. You want to give them good quality products that they're going to wear until they wear it out, and that spend the extra money, get the quality gear. Tell you
so
what.
Our shirts, our shirts are not screen printed. We got rid of screen printing and stuff. They're direct to film. So one of the shirts, I think it was the red shirt. And I took it, the Body by Brisket. I took that shirt home, and a brand new shirt, and washed it. Just every time there was a load of laundry being done at my house, I just washed it. Whether we wore it or not, I wanted to run it through. I wanted to see if that film would come off. The collar of the shirt started coming apart before the film started coming off.
Wow.
Oh, that's quality right there.
And they're soft and they're light. So when you're sweating your butt off at a comp, living in that paradise silly, you're having to do something. Those heavy Hanes shirts that a lot of people print on. Oh, I can't do it, dude.
Nope.
I can't.
Only thing I run is the next level stuff, and not the tri blend. You got to be the bi blend, and it gives you that almost that Under Armour feeling. When Under Armour came out, it's got a little stretch to it, but it's light, but it holds up. It wears like iron.
I love it, and that's so all of our stuff is quality, and we do have some stores that are picking up the hats and the shirts and stuff like that. We are wholesaling those. For stores too, those are available for wholesale.
We got a new shirt that's gonna be coming out in a couple of weeks. I can't release it right now what it's called, but it's gonna be, it's a brisket shirt, and it's gonna be unique, and it's gonna be very cool.
Awesome.
See, but that's the stuff is I like wearing that kind of stuff. I like wearing, Sterling has a shirt called Eat More Lamb, because he was Australian world champion or champion in lamb and stuff. And so, I wear other guys' shirts and I wear my shirts and stuff. It's just kind of what we do. So, having the cool shirts that are barbecue related, that's my closet.
Like this one right here.
Yes.
Yep.
Brisket ribs 2024.
Yeah. I love it. Anthony, you're being quiet.
No. I was just scrolling through this and letting you talk, man. This is your show.
No, man. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, we're getting towards the end of the time, so I always ask the pitmasters that are on here, because I love helping the new guys, the backyard guys, and getting them over that hump. Give one big trick or tip or technique to let's say a beginner or intermediate barbecue pitmaster that would help them do better in competitions.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a couple. First of all, don't take the whole kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
Have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Practice at home.
Yeah.
It's all in the prep work. Learn those knife skills.
Yeah.
Go buy a nice set of Wusthof or Gero knives and keep them sharp.
Come get some shoons from me.
You see what I'm saying? Like a quality knife, not your 3-pack of white handles at Sam's.
Nope.
Right. Yeah.
Those are good for cutting jalapenos when you're doing 1,000 poppers, but that's it.
Yeah.
I firmly believe to be a good cook and to be a good comp cook, you have to have some decent equipment. You have to have some decent knowledge. You have to have some decent skills, and you have to have some decent follow through.
Yeah.
It's all just part of it. So the biggest thing, a guy transitioning and trying to, throw his hat in the ring, which we've all started somewhere.
Yeah.
I lost a bet. That's how Smokin X was born. And I had to go judge a contest, and that's how, and I went and judged it, and I was like, this sucks. I could do better than this.
Yeah.
And that's, that's kind of how I got my start. But so everybody starts somewhere. Don't be intimidated. Do your own thing, but pay attention. And if somebody that has been there offers some advice, listen.
Yep.
But the preparation.
Trim your meats before you go to the competition.
Yep.
Yes, and so there's some stuff that I don't trim until I'm at the comp, just because sometimes you just need to get away from the crowd. But like your chicken and stuff, doing KCBS and stuff, yes, trim that stuff at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend 3 hours in the trailer trimming that crap.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. But the prep work to go to a comp. That's my advice. That's kind
of like my tip is go out in your driveway with nothing in it. Zero, not even a canopy. Go out there and pull out the stuff as you need. Say like you're doing a brisket cook, pull out your canopy, pull out your smoker, pull out what you're going to be using, pull out your rubs, and then whatever is there when you're done with your brisket cook, that's what you need at a competition.
There's your pack up.
Yes.
There's
your pack up. Exactly.
Yes. And I totally agree. So the guy that I told you I was kind of mentoring a little bit, I told him, I said, bring your rig up to my warehouse one day and be ready to cook the comp.
Let's go through it.
and you're going to set everything up like you're at a comp, and we're going to run through it. And the stuff that you don't use, we're going to put that in the back of your pickup. When you get home, you're going to put it in a tote in the garage and leave it there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I'm serious. Some of these guys, man, they show up, and if you're going to have fun and it's a gathering, and I know those guys that do that, all the power to you. You know, if you want to be a donor, hammer down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not flying 15 flags and 20 banners, and I never have. My trailer's black, my dually's black. I fly out of Texas.
Yeah, but
my trailer's wrapped.
You better be flying my sponsorship banner, though.
Let's you know how to find me. I want to get in on that. But it's just stuff like that, you know. I mean, like the guys that I work with, you know, if you're going to wrap your trailer or get one of their stickers or have one made that's, you know, a foot or 18 inches, put that on your trailer. I've seen guys, I'm serious, and I know y'all have too. They spend 2 hours setting up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, no. It takes me however long it takes me to plug my Green Mountains in and to put the racks back the way they're supposed to be, because they'll bounce around, you know, going down the highway.
Yep. You have to check your racks.
Check your racks and make sure that drip tray and everything, and then that sliding deflector plate, make sure that's in the spot that you like it in. And believe it or not, Green Mountains, you know, they're saying, but every one of them's going to cook a little different.
Yep.
Once that stuff is done, I fold my canopy out and I'm ready to cook.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm 10 minutes, and that's getting out and unlocking the trailer and putting my steps down and starting the generator too.
Mm-hmm.
I know these, but because you're a traveling circus. I had a guy, and y'all may not know who it is. He used to be part of, and they're having a resurgence now. It's called Cross Canadian Ragweed. Cody Canada. I was working with them one time, and Cody said, "Man, you're just like us." And I'm like, "Man, you've been to Nashville and you've had hits and stuff. I mean, like I'd love to know how I'm like you. Let me hear this."
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "You come in, you set up, you do your gig, you tear down, and you're on to the next." Yep. Okay. Yep. I'm just like you. So when you put that in there, you know, these guys, if you look at it that way, the guys that, you know, that go do these big shows and go do these big deals, there's not 2 extra semis of banners they're never going to use. Right. So why are you taking 3 extra totes of crap you're not going to use?
Exactly.
I have 2 totes that sit on the shelf in my shop, and then I'll shut up. But they're world food. They're world food totes.
Got it. They have the fancy dishes in it.
It's the fancy stuff. It's the you know, to mince, or there's a mixer in there. It's my KitchenAid stuff. It's the stuff that I'm going to use on that level.
Yeah.
Doesn't live in my trailer.
Right.
Right.
Keep that in mind when you go do a comp. You know, are you going to do an SCA or a 3-meat category, or KCBS with a 4-meat? Take what you need, but make sure you take it. And, you know, be like me. I run a checklist, and this is what's loaded and this is what's not. Yep. And if I'm not going to use it,
yep,
I don't need to fly to the Angels.
And you have different checklists. Because I send out all the beginning teams. I send them out a checklist. I was like, this is a beginning checklist. Use this as your base, and then delete or add what you need, and just have that as your final check before you head out. So
see, and my base list is pans, foil, seasoning, water, gas for the generator.
Yeah,
that's going to go with me every time.
Yeah.
I've got a toolbox, you know, like a stacked toolbox that is mounted in my trailer, and there's one drawer that's just unopened bottles of seasoning. And we just keep X amount of each bottles and each, you know, of what we use. And then once they're open, they go on the speed rail above the table, above the prep table. Mm-hmm. And that goes everywhere. But, you know, water for my sink, you know, gas for the generator, seasoning, pans, foil, that kind of stuff, my knife roll, that's my base list. And then what I'm doing beyond that is what how many coolers are we taking?
Yep.
You know,
exactly. Well, cool, man. Do you want to give a shout out to any sponsors and also where people can find you?
Yes, so you can find me on social media, John Reeves. You can look up Smokin X, Smokin X, and I think on Instagram it's John Smokin X Reeves, or you can look up Smokin Swag, Smokin Swag on all platforms and stuff. And you know, like I said, I can't say enough about Green Mountain, Wild Gear coolers, and then Raider Red Meats. And go to the KCBS website. August 15th, 16th, books are open. Got a few times teams signed up. We have anywhere from 50 to 100 teams every year. We pay $15,000 in cash and prizes. It's held on asphalt. I will not run out of space because I'm holding it on the Texas Tech campus.
Nice. That was by far my favorite recruiting trip. Was in Lubbock.
Oh, you need to come to my comp, even if you just come and hang out.
Yeah,
you know.
I've got to, unfortunately, I have a comp that same weekend. Not quite 15,000. We're doing $6,500 in prize money, but we got a comp that weekend up in Ogden. So,
well, with Tech, they don't want to mess around. You got to do it right, or they'll cut you off. So, it's the weekend before move-in. We do our Raider Rumble on Friday night, which is hilarious. It's a lot of fun because I bring like Schmitty and some other guys in. I have 4 Pitmasters on Friday night. I pin them against each other for $1,000 winner take all, and then I film the whole thing.
That's cool.
And they have to do it on TV, and it's hilarious because I give them 2 hours to cook 45-ounce tomahawk with sides and everything, and plate it like world food.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
And then they have to turn it in front of 600 people inside the livestock arena at our sponsorship dinner.
Oh wow,
it's awesome. I love it.
Sounds awesome.
You talk about pressure,
right?
That's cool.
But anyway, so Raider Red Meats, Green Mountain Grills, Wild Gear. Those are my core. Those have been with me the longest. They're all great companies to work with. I'm not the guy that has 15 sponsors because I just don't have that kind of time. These are my core. That's who I work with. I only want to represent and work with companies that I would actually use the product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then my seasonings, my Simply Beef, my Simply Pecan, Simply Texas, and my Simply Sweet, all available at smokinswag.com.
Sweet. Cool, man. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. We really appreciate your time. And we definitely got to have you on the podcast down the road. Obviously, we need to talk about competition style prep and everything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. Well, thank you, man.
Give me something to believe in. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
All right, John. Thanks, man.
Have a great evening.